In 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari told Igbo leaders, "Your demand for Nnamdi Kanu's release is heavy. I will consider it." But 4 years later, Kanu is still in detention. Now in 2025, Nnamdi Kanu has authorized Honorable Obi Aguocha to negotiate his release. Can a lone lawmaker succeed where elder statesmen and governors have failed? Is this the political situation or another political deadlock? Well, join me on this journey on political arena as we connect the dots, ask the critical questions, and point you to the directions that you never really saw. If you're here for the first time, do well to like, subscribe, and share. Trust me, you wouldn't want to miss this episode of Political Arena for anything. Now, this is a case that has moved from the courts to the streets and now once again to the corridors of political negotiation. So come with me on this journey as we begin to unpack. Let's take a quick trip back to 2021, a time when a high-powered delegation of respected Igbo leaders under the aegis of the highly respected Igbo greats visited the then President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. The delegation was led by none other than Chief Mbazulike Amaechi, a First Republic parliamentarian and Nigeria's first Minister of Aviation. What was their mission? To plead for the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu. They asked that Kanu be handed over to them as elders, men who had seen war, peace, and the fragile unity that holds Nigeria together so they could personally manage the situation. President Buhari's response was cautious and telling. He said, "You've made an extremely difficult demand. Since I became president, I have never interfered in the work of the judiciary, but your request is heavy. I will consider it." He emphasized that releasing Kanu outside of judicial process could contradict the doctrine of separation of powers between the executives and the judiciary. Now, back then, many Nigerians, especially across the southeast, hoped that this meeting signaled a turning point, that maybe, just maybe, Kanu would soon regain his freedom. But that was not to be. Months after the visit, Chief Mbazulike Amaechi passed on. Several others in that delegation, elder statesmen of significant influence, also died in years that followed. And since then, we haven't seen a delegation of such moral authority or historical weight step forward to make that kind of plea again. What we have seen, in fact, are occasional letters and public appeals from a few Southeast governors and political figures, but nothing close to that moment in 2021. So here's the question. If a man of Chief Mbazulike Amaechi's standing, a revered elder who fought for Nigeria's independence, couldn't move the presidency to action, who can today? Who can the government respect and listen to enough to push for Kanu's release in 2025? Now, fast forward to 2025, a significant development has emerged. Nnamdi Kanu has officially authorized Honorable Obi Aguocha, the member representing Ikwuano, Umuahia North and South Federal Constituency of Abia State, to engage with the federal government on his behalf in pursuit of a political resolution to his continued detention. This authorization was conveyed through a formal letter issued by his legal counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimako. To many observers, this move feels like a new chapter. And yes, Honorable Obi Aguocha has been consistent. He's been one of the few voices in the National Assembly who has boldly called for Kanu's release. He has stood in solidarity with him, spoken passionately on the floor of the House, and earned the admiration of many Kanu supporters. But here's the critical question. Does Honorable Obi Aguocha have the diplomatic weight, the political leverage, and the neutrality required to negotiate such a sensitive matter with the federal government. Because if the presidency back in 2021 could not oblige a delegation led by an elder statesman of Mbazulike Amaechi's stature, how likely is it that they will oblige a single legislator, no matter how well-meaning or vocal he may be? We must also remember, since 2021, several Southeast governors have claimed to be negotiating Kanu's release quietly. Yet, 4 years later, there's no tangible outcome to show. So again, what would Obi Aguocha bring to the table for the governors with all their executive access and political alignment could not achieve? Let's be very honest. Many of the Southeast governors, both past and present, have been rather muted on this issue. Could their restraint be linked to that 2017 closed-door meeting with the Southeast governors, where clear boundaries may have been set regarding how far they could go on the Kanu matter?
And the press. This is a communique resulting from our meeting today with the leader of IPOB. So, communique of the Southeast Governors Forum issued today, 30th of August 2017 in Enugu. The Southeast Governors today, the 30th of August 2017, met with the leader of IPOB, Prince Nnamdi Kanu, together with Professor Ben Wabeze, SN, and Evangelist Elliot Okel. The meeting deliberated on a number of demands of IPOB and noted their concerns accordingly. However, the meeting agreed that these demands by IPOB should not be absolute. Rather, the Southeast governors shall immediately engage the leader of IPOB, Prince Nnamdi Kanu, and the entire leadership of IPOB to further meetings and dialogue with a view to quickening the resolutions of all issues amicably. And we also request from all concerns to give the Southeast governors the opportunity to amicably sort out this problem. Thank you very much. Issued by the Southeast governors and read by myself, the chairman, the governor of Ebonyi State. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
One thing we must understand, diplomacy is not about emotions. It's about leverage, timing, and strategic communication. And on the negotiation table, nothing is handed over to you freely. Something must give. So as Kanu places his trust in Honorable Obi Aguocha, one must ask, can he strike the delicate balance between advocacy and diplomacy, between passion and persuasion? Because beyond sentiment, negotiation with the state is a game of tact, not talk. And now, the questions that many are asking are these. Is Omoyele Sowore right when he says the federal government cannot release Nnamdi Kanu, at least not without serious political compromise? Or could it be that Nnamdi Kanu himself is not satisfied with the terms and conditions already offered behind the scenes? And finally, are the Southeast governors being fully honest with the people about what's really happening in these so-called negotiations? Whichever way we look at it, the Nnamdi Kanu issue continues to test Nigeria's democracy, its justice system, and its capacity for political reconciliation. A man remains in custody, his people divided between hope and skepticism, and a region still bleeding economically and emotionally from the fallout of his movement. For now, time will tell whether Honorable Obi Aguocha's mission will break new grounds, or whether it will join the long list of unfulfilled promises and political deadlocks. I must also add, politics is not just about power, it's about understanding the forces that shape our nation. Well, this is Political Arena, a place where we connect the dots, analyze the facts on ground, and point you to the direction that you never really saw. Do well to join the conversation in the comments. Also like, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one.